Okay, thanks. I'm Brenden. And like Sam said, I just came up with an idea and pitched it to him, and he said, sure, okay, let's do a little talk about it. So I've created a tool which is a bit of a mouthful, SocialOSINTLM. All right, and I'll get into that. Subtitle, fusing multi, whatever. It's meant to sound cool, but it's word salad. All right, so why I came up with this is, what does my online persona say about me? And then I thought, that doesn't really matter because I don't have an online persona anymore. I deleted everything. But then I thought, what can I find out about other people and what it says about them? And not just people, but businesses. There's a lot of information out there. So I created this tool, which is an aggregator and an analyzer. Okay, it just goes onto one of these social media platforms, pulls down data from a named user, and then analyzes that. I've created it so it uses OpenAI compatible APIs, so you can run it locally or through a hosted provider. Okay, so the power comes from fusing text and visual data. Now, this is important because you can scrape a social media platform or you can pull down a post, but you will lose information if you're just getting text. When you have images, that adds a lot of context and it can completely flip what the text means. So my tool will pull down the data and then uses a system prompt to submit that image to a vision model, and then gets the description from that vision model and puts it back into another system prompt, which then sends it off to the large language model for analysis and gives you this data back. I've structured it all to be grounded in what is verifiable rather than having it speculate on things. So it won't say it looks like it's somewhere. It will say these are the features around there. And this is a little bit of what it is. See, it's not speculating on anything. Semantic themes, settings, environments, yeah, potential geographical locations. And particularly important, it's not trying to guess who the person, if there is someone there, and concentrating on verifiable evidence only. And in my GitHub, you can see the two really big prompts for this. This is a little bit of the output from a JSON file, because it gets pulled down into JSON, and then that's JSON that gets submitted. Okay, and we can see here that this is a user I chose. We've got the setting and environment. Appears to be inside a mode of transportation, likely an airplane or train, based on what they can see. It's just a table seat, right? And they can see things like, and they can see the lighting suggests it's daytime. They see things like sunglasses on there. And the accompanying tweet, actually this is on Blue Sky. It says, the beginning of a NITS project. And this is actually a US congressperson. This is what it is. So luckily here, they're not leaking any data, but you can see there's a potential of them having something here, and then they have more data that gets ingested and output by the vision model that's got some notes on something potentially confidential. So when you launch a tool, it looks like this. You'll effectively say, choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can use commas to say, I want to say 1, 2, and that means you'll launch Blue Sky and Twitter. Or I've got cross-platform, which basically is the same as saying 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this allows you to compare two different, not only that, is you can put two users, just separating them by a comma. So if I want to do 2 Twitter users, and I can compare them to each other and start analyzing data rather than just pulling down one lot of data looking at it, which is generally what you'd have to do at the moment. And what I've chosen here is actually just the Financial Times, because I had trouble picking a person without it being a bit weird, really, because I couldn't think of a particular person to do this analysis of. So I went ahead and I chose Blue Sky for Financial Times and Twitter for FT. And I said, are they the same person or company? And it says it's likely they are the two accounts. And then there's more stuff here, but it gives out the supporting evidence for this. All right. And then I went ahead and I did something similar. But this time I chose The Onion as a different one. Okay, so we all know The Onion is a satirical news site. And it says they are not the same because of this evidence, and there'll be a whole bunch more of that at the end. But you can see that there's a benefit of that. For instance, if someone creates a Blue Sky account of like Coca-Cola, and then they start feeding data in there, that looks, it just points to crypto or something like that. This will easily be able to tell that they don't follow the same kind of patterns of posting. And this is just for companies. And people who are involved with open source intelligence get commissioned to do things like this. Potentially, if a company is acquiring another, there'll be checks for this, and they'll go into a deep dive. It will also identify if other accounts have been detected in this, which can then lead you on another avenue. So, dear practitioner, okay, so if you're starting a new job, you may want to look into the company or charity or whatever it is that you're going to go to. Like I said, acquiring company could even be used for missing persons, because it will bring a timeline of an individual. Because it's got vision analysis, you'll be able to have things like, I'm going to the beach, it's text only, and if you're using a web scraper, but this uses the APIs, so it should be more reliable than a web scraper. So if you just say going to the beach, text only, what does that really mean? There are many beaches, but if you got a train ticket with of Brighton, that really narrows things down. Relationship matching, you know that there's different people that's getting called out in tweets and posts and things. And if you're red teaming, so you're doing some social engineering, you can really do a deep dive into individuals. And like the demonstration I showed earlier, it was information leakage. So I have the interactive mode, which is what I showed earlier, but it also has standard in using JSON, and this is my example. You don't need to use all of these. Here you can see I've chosen 2 Reddit accounts to interrogate, and then the prompt I want to put in along with the other system prompts. So it will submit the other strong system prompts along with yours, but you might want to focus on something like say, show me only locations of this stuff. And then, like you saw, I put in, are these the same accounts? So that's the prompt you could put in there. And it allows you to make a bit of an easier pipeline. So if you're using tools like Sherlock to find common usernames on different platforms, if you know what Sherlock is. But it will say, if you're like, the Twitter account, it will then search for the same user on many, many other sites. So you could do this target, put the user's account name in there, and then see, are they the same person, or it may lead you down some other path. There is a 24-hour cache on there. One, because posts get old, and there's no point in really analyzing old data. But the other one is, if someone deletes their account, we don't want that data anymore. There are terms of service in the APIs that are saying about the right to be forgotten, so you need to respect that in a reasonable amount of time. You may not want the cache anymore. So there was an option to remove cache, either the downloaded analysis, the actual reports that are created, because they get automatically saved in Markdown, and images are also saved. So you can go back and refer to those that have come up in the posts. Okay, like I said, it's strictly on public available information, so it's not actually getting anything that you can't see by just browsing to the page or logging in. As I mentioned, the purge facility. This is important. A knowledge model bias, they can get things wrong and they can have biases and stay in the loop. You can't just let this tool make the decision for you because it's AI. It doesn't really know what it's doing. So that's my project. You can check it out on that GitHub, and thank you very much.